Hi, I'm Leela.
I'm Frances.
I'm Sonia. I'm Madison.
We're doing Nellie Bly, Pioneer with a Pen.
Here we are with Elizabeth Jane Cochran, later known as famed reporter Nellie Bly. She has offered to share her final thoughts regarding her life as a journalist. So, Nellie, how did you get the idea to pursue this non-traditional occupation? Oh, and is that your journal?
Yes, indeed it is. The very same one, in fact, I wrote in on my exploration around the world. And I suppose it all started when I read this absolutely shocking article in newspaper Pittsburgh Dispatch.
What type of man would put such foolish article in the newspaper? What girls are good for? That I shall stray no further than home? A working woman is a monstrosity? Why, I ought to write a letter to this horrid editor. What is this? A rebuttal to the piece, What Girls Are Good For? Signed Little Orphan Girl? A woman wrote this? Why, this is astounding. I wonder what our readers would think of this woman's writing. Why, I have to stop and meet this girl at once.
I saw that ad returning home from the market one day. I rushed to meet him, wondering what he could possibly want with me, a woman. I had no idea this would be such a crucial step in my journalism career. A career I did not know yet was available for me.
Come in. Are you the little orphan girl from the letter I received? Yes, indeed I am. I have to say, that letter that you wrote was quite astounding. For a woman. Well, I like to believe that women are just as capable as men, but I'm glad you liked it. Yes, in fact, I liked it so much, I'm offering you a temporary position. Would you be interested in writing a rebuttal piece for my newspaper? Yes, I would love to. Oh, thank you. I'm going to ask you to sign at Little Orphan Girl once more. And if I like it, I'm offering you a full-time position. I will do my best, sir. She came back to me the next day. I was blown away. Her ability to inflict emotion into the minds of her readers was incredible. I hired her for a full-time position right away. I adopted the pen name Nellie Bly after the popular song by Stephen Foster.
The year was 1889, when I was about to embark on my journey around the world. 25 years after I met with the editor of the Pittsburgh Dispatch. 2 years after that, I moved to New York and began working for newspaper The World. It is indeed extraordinary how far I've come. From a little girl with no father to a big-town reporter about to explore the whole world.
Nellie, tell us, what made you decide to embark on this treacherous journey around the world? The novel by Jules Verne. The fictional character Phileas Fogg set out around the globe in 80 days. So I figured, why not do the same in less time?
I remember approaching my editor with the idea. As soon as the words came out of my mouth that I wanted to be a fictional record, I was rejected. I spent about a year trying to get approval for me to travel all the way around the world alone. But sadly, people did not think a woman, would be capable of traveling around the world with no company from a man.
And where are all your trunks of clothing and things? I expected a woman to carry much more than a sack no bigger than a bread parcel. It will be seen that if one is traveling simply for the sake of traveling, and not for the purpose of impressing one's fellow passengers, the problem of baggage becomes quite a simple one. And your chaperones? Chaperones? Ha! This is my journey. I will do it alone. Farewell, New Jersey!
I was a sensation. Since my reports about my travels did not go back to the world in time for daily updates, they fabricated the news by holding sweepstakes, where readers of my work would guess how long it would take me to travel from country to country. Since I traveled using mostly steamships and railroads, sometimes I was delayed. I remember in Singapore, there was a brutal storm, and I had to stay one night later than planned. Elise McGinty, my pet monkey, was there to keep me company.
Come here, McGinty. What should I send back to the world? Should I talk about the storm?
Yes, I remember there being occasional setbacks. Meanwhile, to make matters worse, rival newspaper Cosmopolitan was sending reporter Elizabeth Bislin to try and beat me. However, I would not let this deter me. I focused on my journey and my journey alone.
Did you have any issues with men from other countries? Not to offend, but I'm almost certain not everyone would be welcoming to a woman.
As a matter of fact, I did. A man in Singapore once prevented me from going into a Hindu temple, although he was letting men in.
Oranges, oranges.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, what do you want to eat?
I would like to make a report on this temple. You see, I'm reporter Nellie Bly. You may have heard of me.
Never heard of the name in my life. And besides, I can't believe a newspaper would hire a woman.
You see, sir, this is necessary. I must report on this temple to send back to my newspaper. Don't you want the publicity?
No! Leave before I summon the authorities!
I walked away feeling a little disgruntled, but I couldn't let this stop me, for I knew it would happen again. Why should I have to sit out here while the men are inside having a good time?
And one time, on a white Star Line cruiser crossing the Pacific, my crew hit a rough patch of water. I got a little frantic, I must admit.
I'd rather make it to New York dead than not a winner.
We arrived in San Francisco 2 days behind schedule. I was beside myself with worry. I couldn't live with myself if I didn't make it back in time. But the world sent for a private train, so I'd make it back to New York. And I did it. I made it.
All the way around the world. I did it.
Let's see here. Nellie Bly passed away January 27th, 1922, from pneumonia. Honey, come in here. Look at this. What is it, dear? Oh, that's awful. She inspired me to pursue journalism after all. Read this. Reporter Nellie Bly didn't manage to succeed. She was able to travel the world with only a few necessities. Huh. I remember that. It was all over the headlines. She explored new places almost every day with perseverance and determination, teaching other young women to explore the idea of women's rights. She's the reason I'm a reporter, and not some seamstress. She helped pave the way for women's job opportunities in fields such as reporting, exploring, and so much more. She inspired many other women than just me. Nellie Bly explored places that have never been encountered by a woman reporter. She reported on things no one had ever thought to make such a report on. And it also says here that Nellie Bly took an approach on the world no one ever has. And boy, is that true. Nellie Bly did not only show that women are just as capable as men, but her writing technique and the way she approached obstacles weren't like any other. I wonder where I would be now if it weren't for Nellie Bly. I almost felt like I knew her personally through her writing. Words spoke to my heart, and she voiced what I believed in. It was like that for everyone. That Bly sure was something.
So, do you have any questions?
Yes. How did you come up with
Well, I think we've always been really interested in women in history that have done things that have really inspired other women to rise above the stereotypes of just sitting at home, looking after children, and all that. So I think Nellie Bly was also an inspiration for us too, and we really liked how she put herself out there and did things that was mostly for men at that time, and she basically created a whole new generation of journalists that are women, so yeah.
At the very end, in your obituary, there was that you were describing. You said that she did things in a new way, or reporting was in a new way. What's that all about?
Well, meaning kind of by the women, and she was able to go over what people expected of a woman those days, kind of.
She also reported on things that most people didn't think to report on, she went to a mental asylum for 10 days, which we didn't mention. Things that were kind of fabricated by the society that actually needed a lot of serious help, and she reported on slums and tried to make things a lot better for people.
What surprised you when you were doing your research?
How she was able to travel the world so quickly, only using like steamships, railroads, and like how she was, how she didn't have any male companions at that time. It was really just like surprising.
And that she like refused to like let anyone come with her and like travel by her or like explore by herself, like using such like complicated like technology for that time.
That people didn't think women could handle.
So somebody paid for her trip, right?
Yeah, her newspaper sponsored it.
Okay, so she fought with her newspaper to
Yes.
allow her to
Yeah.
go along?
It took her like a couple of stages to. She had to keep asking her, like the editors of the newspaper, to let her go on this trip.
What do you think convinced the editors of the newspaper?
Well, I think they decided, well, she probably won't make it, but we'll just humor her. They didn't actually think that she would be able to do it. They thought she would give up, but she proved them all wrong, and that was really
Or
exciting.
get halfway and
Yeah,
get
I'm
out of our
done.
hair?
Yeah.
Does this inspire any of you to go on to be journalists?
Well, you know, I think it is actually really interesting. I don't know yet, but I kind of want to be like her, but maybe not in like the field of journalism.
So what else didn't get into your performance that you want us to know about?
The mental asylum, which she spent 10 days.
So she pretended to be insane and was able to get herself into a mental asylum and to like write about it. And then when she got out, she was able to tell people how it was and like the inside truth of the asylums.
How
She
terrible.
also did the same thing in jail. Not everyone knows about this, but I read about it, and she got herself, so she wanted to see how women were treated in jail, and how like they weren't treated as good as like males were.
A lot of times they wouldn't let people out of the asylums. How did she get back out?
The newspaper, well, they sent her in there. They just said, we know this woman, we'll take care of her, and they got her out. And they released a huge article about how badly those patients were treated in the mental asylum, and she wrote about it, and she said it was like the most horrifying experience of her life.
We actually were able to find her book online, and it was able to give some details of that experience, like what they were eating, how they were treated, the like hygiene of it, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a book for her traveling around the world and the mental asylum.
Yes, we skipped through both of those.
Anything more you want to share with us?
I think that's all. We kind of covered the whole thing.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much.